welcome to Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you could do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams, a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today we're talking about trying something new and how not to let perfectionism get in the way. Hey Janine.
Hey Shannon, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm okay. Feel like I'm in recovery mode after, post-election stress and everything else. It's like just sort of trying to come back to the surface and figure out what normal life is.
I know, right? Because it all sort of got, discombobulated for a while there.
Yeah, it really did. But time marches on in its own 2020 way. And
yes.
and the news that there's a vaccine or a couple of vaccines that are in the pipeline adds so much hope, right? To have a light shining at the end of the tunnel that we will
and that they're effective.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So I feel like, okay, maybe next year will be different than this year, which is what, of course, we're counting on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we did get to do something fun. Well, we got to do two something funs to get funds. Two somethings fun. I'm not sure how to say that.
Two fun things.
Yes. Together recently. But the main one we want to talk about is the class we took on Saturday.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was so nice to see you on Zoom. We should maybe do our podcast on Zoom, because it really was so nice to see you on Zoom in that class.
Yeah, it was great. It felt... it was nice. And it was nice. It was a good group of people, and it was a really fun topic that I think we both learned something about our perfectionism doing.
Yes, absolutely. So I saw that this class on creating flowcharts was being offered, and I knew that the person I learned about it from was a friend of yours. So I texted you and said, "Oh, I'm tempted by this." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm taking that, Janine." Like, of course you knew all about it, and you were already part of it. And so that was all I needed. It's like, okay, I'm signing up. And it was fun.
Yeah, and it was, I think the official title of it was Flowcharting Your Way to Relative Sanity.
Yes.
Which I was like, what? But then when we did it, it was really super helpful. Mm-hmm. But the thing that was really crazy to me is I thought that this was something where it would be really easy for me to get tripped up in perfectionism. Mm-hmm. And I was happy to find out that that wasn't the case.
That's excellent. Well, the teacher, Claire, what's Claire's last name?
Claire Lawton.
Her flowcharts.
Claire Lawton.
Are amazing looking, right? Because she does cartoons and
yes.
They're so appealing. And so when you said I could see you getting perfectionistic about it, I thought, oh yeah, I can see you getting perfectionistic about it, Shannon, because you're a cartoonist as well, and it could have been fraught with that. And whereas I was like, yeah, I'm not going to have that problem because I'm naturally good at good enough, and I have no aspirations to. I would never try to cartoon something, so that wasn't an issue.
Right.
I wouldn't try to compare mine to hers. Yet I did find a little bit of perfectionism that came up during it.
Yeah. And what do you think sparked the perfectionism? or triggered
I
it?
think it was about wanting to do it right and not exactly being sure what right was. And it was in like the second exercise. The first exercise, I didn't know what I was supposed to do when she told us to chart out our day. And so I just wrote it down essentially. And then I saw what other people did, which was all much more creative than mine. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, what's meant by this? And so on the second exercise, I ended up doing like 3 drafts of something that I don't need. It's like it's something of no value to me. It was just a hypothetical question that she made up that we were supposed to chart the 3 follow-up questions to. And I spent way too much time on that. More time than it merited, without a doubt.
Definitely fell into our definition of perfectionism.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. And strangely, I feel like, sort of going into it, I had a little bit of fear about like not being able to do it as well as I wanted to, and certainly not as well as Claire. But sort of seeing what everyone else did, I didn't, I was just curious about it. Like I didn't have those feelings of like, they did this different. Should I have done it differently? Like I just was very curious about what other people had done, and thought it was sort of fascinating the way everybody interpreted the exercises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then by the time we got to the point where we were charting our own questions, then I let go of the perfectionism, because it was so useful to me. Like I didn't worry about it being right. I felt it was right. What I was doing, I could feel was useful to me in terms of answering the question that I was posing to myself. So I just went with it and let go of any worries that it wasn't right. Because of course by then I'd learned there's no such thing as right, because I'd sat through 2 times around of people showing their responses, and we had, I don't know, a dozen people or something, so I saw that everybody was different. There's no right answer here, and ended up with a couple of flowcharts that were really helpful to me. So that was a lovely lesson in letting go of perfectionism.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I ended up doing a couple too, because the first one, she just wanted us to do one with our own question, and the first one went so quickly for me, I did another one because I somehow, the idea of asking questions made it easier. Like, well, I can ask as many questions as I need to answer this question. So for example, I did one on, is it time to meditate? And I decided to do that because I have been feeling like it would be really useful for me to meditate more than I have been, and I haven't been doing a whole lot. But I haven't, I keep getting stuck when I go to do it, or like think like, should I meditate now? And for some reason, the answer always seemed to be no. And so working through this and coming up with the different questions, and ultimately what I realized is essentially all roads point to, it's a good time to meditate. Like if I'm thinking about it, it's probably a good time to meditate. And I also made a little note to myself that said, one conscious breath is enough. I'm not saying like I have to sit down for 20 minutes. But that, just like when the thought occurs to me, it's a good time to at least pay attention and have one conscious breath.
Yeah. So do you think that perfectionism was getting in the way of you're meditating because it wasn't the perfect time to do it? Is that
Yes.
part of it? Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
and then this exercise freed you from that, it sounds like, which is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
That's excellent.
And it was a way bigger deal than I ever expected. Like, since I did this, I've had many moments throughout the day where it's just like, oh, I could just take a minute and pay attention to my breath and kind of go inside and like, just have a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so valuable.
Oh, that's terrific. And
Yeah.
and one of the things that I charted was, how can I design my schedule to fit in more writing? Because I'm trying to write. I write a lot, but I mostly write blog posts and stuff, and I want to be working on, as people who have been listening carefully to the podcast know, because I talk about it way too much and don't do it, is write more of my guides and stuff that I charge for. I want to expand those opportunities to earn money. And so I charted it by asking questions and came up with a couple of ideas, and one of which was to reserve that time right after I get back from walking Bix to work on one of these guides for, say, 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a set time of the day, but it's a set time in my day, right? And I did it this morning. I mean, I was really cognizant of it.
Oh, that's so exciting.
And I set my timer for 30 minutes, and I worked on it for 30 minutes, and then I closed it because I had to get on to other things. But that felt so darn good, because it was like a logjam was broken. Like I had been moving that daily task off my to-do today list into archive or delete rather than done today for weeks now. So that was big. And I think, it's funny, signing up for this class, I think I would have signed up for it probably even if you weren't in it, but the fact that you were in it made it really easy. But I had no idea what to expect. And I'm not really one to jump into classes, into new things where I don't know what to expect, especially if participation is required. But, the whole world of Zoom has changed everything, and I'm just so glad that I did. I mean, it was really beneficial for me, and any discomfort I might have felt by my lack of expectations. Sometimes lack of expectations actually is great because you can't be disappointed, but
right.
I was really glad that I was willing to feel a little bit of discomfort around that and just show up and see what happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's such a good reminder that, what's that card you have on your bulletin board that I've gotten to see a lot lately?
Right. Everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Yeah. So, that discomfort, that little bit of fear, being able to move through that gets you to what you want.
Right. Yep, exactly. So,
and
not trying something new does not help.
Right. And I think that, that you can look at this idea of trying something new on so many different levels. Like, it can be something specific like this, like learning to do a flowchart, taking a class. It could be something like, look at an area in your life where you've really been struggling with perfectionism and trying a new way of looking at it, or trying a new way of letting go of this desire to get it right or get it perfect, and try on good enough.
Yes. It can also be even trying a new food. As the person who always orders the same thing at every restaurant, once I've tried something at a particular restaurant and I like it, I always order the same thing, so I'm not going to be disappointed. But, if I were to try some new things, I might have a disappointment because it's not as amazing as the first thing, but I also might have more wonderful things to enjoy.
Right.
Not that I go to restaurants, but someday I will. And
one day again.
Yes, and then I'll get to try. I think I'll try to remember to be a little more open to new things.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was just a really interesting exercise. And as we're talking about it, I feel like the way we ask questions in this flow charting helped me be less concerned about getting it right, because it really visually mapped out how there's no one right answer.
Right. The answers
there's all
flowed.
these different possibilities.
Yeah. And then, and almost by necessity, at least in my flowcharts, I was scratching stuff out and rewriting things to, get the wording because the wording of the initial question was important because it allowed me to ask follow-up questions. And so you have lots of sort of squishy scratchies, and that's okay with me.
Yeah, mine looks the same way, and it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, that one of the things that I sort of told myself was like, this is just a draft. We're just playing with this. And then, I can redo it once I have it sort of sorted out the way I want to. And I'm looking at it now, I'm like, I don't really see the reason to redo it.
Oh, that's
great. This is definitely good enough.
Right. That's how mine is too. And I feel like if I tried to redo it, it would take out the spontaneity that is part of it. It's part of its lifeblood, is
right.
Sort of the stream of consciousness aspect of it, which makes it more appealing. So, I mean, if I were doing it for publication or something, maybe I'd try to make it look better. But, and I love that it's handwritten. I mean, we're all in this class, we're all handwriting our things. In fact, the only requirement was that we bring paper and an enjoyable pen, right?
Yeah.
In fact, one of my charts, or actually was that brain exercise I did on black paper with silver pen. That was kind of exciting.
Oh, that's kind of exciting. Yeah. That's really fancy. Yeah. So it was a very surprisingly valuable lesson in letting go of perfectionism.
And it's so nice when we get those reminders, isn't it? I mean, you and I, we think about this all the time. So we get reminders all the time. But I think anybody who's sort of becoming more conscious of letting go of perfectionism, embracing good enough, if you keep your mind open to it, you see these reminders, and that can be really valuable. I literally see them every day. I don't know about you, but I'm always.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I probably say that's good enough as often as I say, let it be easy. But
right.
Especially since I'm doing the hand lettering, right? So like today, for example, I made a card for my next door neighbor. I wanted to give him a thank you card, and it was a new technique. So I did allow myself a couple of drafts, and then I did what was going to be the final one, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect at all, and but it was great, and I gave it to Barry to sign as well, and he looked at it and he said, "Did you make this?" I said, "Yes." He said, I expected him to point out the errors because that's how he rolls as a perfectionist,
right?
And he said, "Well, where did you learn to do that? How about that?" And I said, "YouTube." and he laughed. But it was really great, right? I mean, that felt like it passed a little test. It was definitely good enough. And if I could have spent a lot of time trying to make another version that was perfect, but I didn't.
Wow, that is great. Yeah. That is such a good reminder. And, it just makes it all that much more personal.
Exactly. Handmade things are distinguished by their imperfection, right? And enhanced by their imperfection. It's true.
Yes.
Yes. Knitters should remember that.
Right. You don't want it to look like it was machine knit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Anything else that comes to mind on thinking about trying something new and how fun it is when you can let go of your perfectionism for a minute and do that?
Yes, it was so fun. Yes. No, I don't think I have anything to add except if maybe we'll post a couple of one each of our charts, flow charts on our show notes if you all want to take a look at what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea. We'll do that. But we want to hear from you. How do you make it easier to try something new? You can let us know on the show notes at gettingtogoodenough.com, on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, we're at Getting to Good Enough, and on Twitter, we're at GTG Enough. Or you can leave us a message at 413-424-GTGE, that's 4843. But for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. I kind of just want to make flowcharts for everything now.
I think I will be.